Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time on the channel, hit subscribe right now. It's that time of the year where everybody thinks back on what was the best of the year and releases a list with the best albums. A lot of albums were released and so many good albums. In fact, when I started to write down, my list, I quickly got to a list of over 200 albums that I thought were contenders for best albums of the year. Now, don't worry, I'm not gonna throw 200 albums at you right now, but I am gonna do a bit of an extra large edition of this video. I'm going to count down my top 50 albums of 2022. I'm gonna do that in two videos. I will do a separate video for the top 10. So in this video, we're gonna count down from number 50 to number 11. Like I said before, I started with way more albums, so it was a really hard exercise to get it down to this 50. But anyway, we don't want to make this video too long or boring for you, so we're gonna go fast. Let's kick it off with my pick for number 50, or the first album to make the albums of the year. This is Visions of Atlantis with Pirates. Visions of Atlantis is a band that's been around for a long time. They reinvented themselves quite a few times with different singers. I like their current lineup the most, and I think that this is their strongest album. They also reinvented themselves as a symphonic pirate-themed metal band. But the true secret ingredient here is still, how Michele and Clementine play off of each other. The song you want to check out for this album, I would say, is Legion of the Seas. So that was the first album in this list. We're gonna go fast. That was an album that came out on Napalm. They had a good year. You're gonna hear more Napalm records in this list. So let's go to number 59. We have Fallujah with Empyrean. You have a new singer on board, and boy did that work out. If you want to check out a song for this album of the technical death metal band, I would highly recommend that you check out Radiant Ascension. And this album was the first album in this list that came out on Nuclear Blast. My pick for number 48 actually has no label. They are an indie band. There's gonna be a few of them actually on this list. But very, very exciting band from Canada. One of the more fun thrash metal albums of the year. We have Hyperia with Silhouettes of Horror. What I love about this band is two things. It's the fresh guitar playing. You can just feel the energy, but also, the vocals of Marley are phenomenal. This girl's got quite a range. She can do grunting, she can do clean vocals, she can go with a harsh vocal, and she's very loud. Alright, something completely different on number 47. We actually have another album that comes from Napalm Records. We have Evergrey with A Heartless Portrait. The progressive metal band around Tom Englund, continues to impress. I think this is a really good album. Is it the best Evergrey album of all time? Probably not, but I mean, they have quite the back catalog. It definitely is one of my favorites in their catalog, and extra bonus points for one of the most beautiful artworks of the year. If you want to check out a song on that album, I recommend Save Us. At number 46, we have the German metalcore legends of Caliban with Dystopia. The virus waken us! I mean, this is a band that's never been away, but I feel like Caliban really came back in the last 2 years. This album came out on Century Media, and if there is one song you should check out, it is the song Virus. Alright, on the number 45, we have another Canadian band. It is the brutal hardcore, or metalized hardcore, or whatever you want to call it, but listen to Merciless Destruction by Get the Shot. This album came out on New Damage Records, and if there's one song that will demolish a pit, it has to be Deathbound. Okay, at the number 44, we go back to Napalm Records already for a third time for something completely different. We have Warfront by Windrose. The power metal dwarves of Italy are back, and not only with their finest record, but are also really showing to everybody that they have gone well beyond the hype that they created with the gimmicky, diggy hole. This is a great album. It's a really good modern power metal album. And if there's one song that you want to listen to get into the mood, I would say listen to Gates of Agony. At the number 43, an album that some people called one of their disappointments of the year, which I think is hugely unfair. This is the Opus Contra Naturem by Behemoth. I think it's a great album. Is it as good as The Satanist? No, but guess what? Nothing is. The Satanist is one of the greatest metal albums of all time, and it would be unfair to measure Behemoth in the future only against that album. This is a strong album. It made my top 50 list, and if you want to check out one song, I would say check out The Deathless Sun. My God is the all-consuming fire. Back to Napalm Records for something completely different, Alter Bridge with Pawns and Kings. Alter Bridge is one of the greatest rock bands in modern history. Good, strong album yet again. If you want to check out one song, you should check out This Is War. Okay, for my 41st pick, let's return to Century Media with Witchery and Nightside. Witchery is one of my favorite bands. I love their mix of black metal, rock and roll, thrash metal, and so much more. This album was really cool, and you need to check out the opening track, Witching Hour. Alright, we are already at the top 40, and we're gonna go straight in with the German thrashers of destruction with their new album, Diabolical. Good album, and one of the most fun songs for me. I mean, fun is maybe not the right way of describing it, but you should check out No Faith in Humanity. At the number 39 spot, a discovery for me, a really cool band, cool album. It is Abrams with In the Dark. I would describe this band as the Foo Fighters on like sludgy stoner steroids or something like that. I think it's a really cool album. And if you want to check out one song, I would say check out In the Clouds. For the number 38, we go back to Nuclear Blast for the wonderful creative mind of Tobias Sammet and his Avantasia with his new album, A Paranormal Evening with the Moonflower Society. Never afraid, or so we think, as we face the unknown. Avantasia brings us metal operas with the best musicians and vocalists in our world. One song that really stands out, although it's a really good album, I would say, is the duet with Floriansen of Nightwish, Kill the Pain Away. Nobody better kill the pain away. I say this river from the pouring rain. Right as this album came out, Floriansen was diagnosed with breast cancer. She is doing much better now. Seems like she's fully recovered, but it did give that particular song a bit of a different meaning. But anyways, great album, check it out. Another leading lady of heavy music on the number 37 spot, we have Hailstorm with Back from the Dead. Don't call me an angel, I'll always be safe. This album came out on Atlantic Records. Hailstorm, obviously one of the biggest bands in heavy rock today. Good new album. I would say that Wicked Ways is the song to check out. Spot, we have another band with a female vocalist. Not that it really matters, I would say, but a really cool album called Unfinished by Shield of Wings. Another album that I would describe as maybe a new debut of this band, a band that's been around for a little bit of time, but I think that the band themselves would agree that they are now truly starting. If you want to check out one of the songs, I would recommend one of their singles, Wetland. At the number 35, we return to Canada for their new Skullfist album, Paid in Full. So this album that came out on Atomic Fire divided some of the fans. I've heard people say that they didn't really like the album too much, that they didn't feel like it had a lot of inspiration. And then there's other people like myself that think that this is actually the best stuff that they've done. And if you want to check out one song, I would say, well, there's two songs. Warrior of the North is really cool, but I would say take a look at For the Last Time. Going to number 34, not only a great album, but maybe one of the best cover artworks of the year. We go to Venom Prison with Erebos. This album came out on Century Media, and if I would recommend one song, I would say Judges of the Underworld is the one you need to look at. At the number 33, another new discovery for me, an album that came out of the blue and blew me away. It is Immortal's Requiem by Phantom Spell. Released on Wizard Tower Recordings, this band and on this album brings together the best of Nwabum and adventure rock and some psychedelica. This is fantastic. For fans of Haunt, Tanith, or Witch Hazel, check out this album because you're going to love it. If you only have time for one song, I would say Dawn of Mind is the song you need to check out. Okay, number 32, something completely different again, an album released by Metal Blade. This is the technical death metal of Revocation on their new album, Neither Heaven. Revocation is one of these bands that is fueling the technical death metal golden age that we are living through right now. And one of the songs that I think really stood out on that record was Nihilistic Violence. At the number 31 spot, another album that, you know, a lot of people were looking forward to. This has become a very big band. We're talking about Deceivers by Arch Enemy. Arch Enemy has become a bit of a super group with all the people that they've over the years amassed in this team. This was a great album, and funnily enough, I find that when it came out, a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's not that exciting." You know, Arch Enemy is not what it used to be. For a few years now, I think, you know, in my language, they say tall trees catch a lot of wind. I think that criticism is completely unfounded. I've been listening to this record since it came out, and it stays fresh and it stays good. Lots of good songs on there, and I think that a lot of people that initially discarded this album have revisited this album in the meantime and actually, you know, fell in love with it. The pseudo-titled track, Deceiver, Deceiver, is definitely a song you need to check out. Alright, are you ready for the top 30? I know I am, so let's go straight into it. The first album by Season of Mist on this list, there will be more. The Wonderful Voices of the Cronian Moon by Night. Night is this cool band that mixes, you know, traditional heavy metal with some blackened elements. And if you want to delve into this fun band, I would say listen to Cronian Moon. Okay, for the 29th spot we go back for, I've lost count how many times now, Napalm Records with the really, really cool Sacred Rites and Black Magic by Storm Ruler. This Wabam influenced epic black metal is really cool. Especially check out the song Internal Fulmination of the Grand Deceivers. You know, try to find all the Satan influences in that song. Alright, on the number 28, another band that is huge, probably the biggest band in metal today. I'm talking about the wonderfully melancholic album Sides from Rammstein. I think this album completely overpowers the previous album, even if that previous album had the fantastic song Deutschland on it. There's so much goodness on this album. Now, I could say all of that, and I could say how the songs Side or Adieu are some of the most beautiful songs ever made by this band, and the accompanying music videos are so well thought of and are pieces of art. However, I am gonna be super shallow, and I'm just gonna go with, you know, the song that I've truly enjoyed the most and I played the most is Dicke Titten. Alright, at the number 27, it is a debut, but it's also a comeback in a way. It is the Halo Effect with Days of the Lost. So the Halo Effect is basically what In Flames could have been today, that it isn't anymore. These are a group of former In Flames musicians that are basically giving us old school In Flames music in a modern sound. And for all the fans out there that have seen In Flames reinvent themselves, as they are allowed to do, but didn't really feel as connected anymore with that band, well, the Halo Effect is here for you. So if you want to check out that album that came out on Nuclear Blast, I would say start with Feel What I Believe. On the number 26, we go to AOP Records for Ellenbogengesellschaft of the really cool black metal band Elende. This might be just the year of black metal, but Elende was, their release was really cool. Artwork is fantastic for sure, production is on point, and it's the kind of transcendent yet raw black metal that I really appreciate. If there's one song that I would recommend that you check out, it would be the song Abschied. At the number 25, another discovery for me, and rarely do I get blown away as much by a new vocalist as I got when I heard for the first time Pagans Rising by Hexed. This album came out on Vicky Solon Productions, and well, I mean, just check out the title track. It's really, really cool. We go back to Metal Blade Records for, again, something quite different. I already shared before that we are somewhat in a golden age of technical death metal, and one of the best albums in that genre this year was, without a doubt, A Legion with Damnum. This was a bit of a different album for A Legion, especially from the lyrical content. Now the band has made some changes since that album came out, but nevertheless, this album and the live shows that they put on were really, really good. If you want to check out one song, I would say check out Into Embers. Something completely different than anything else, really. A really cool album. Check out Black Terrain by Forlesen. This album came out on Voidhanger Records, and there's only a few songs on this record that each of them are pretty long, you know, epic stories that flow through a lot of things. There's avant-garde in there, there's some black metal in there for sure. There's also folk in there, there's post-metal in there. A lot is going on, but it's one of those albums that you want to just, you know, put on and, you know, lose yourself into. If you want to give it a try, check out the song Strega. Where the previous album had some black metal in it, let's go pure heavy fucking black metal. Let's go to the Agony and Ecstacy of Watain. This album came out on Nuclear Blast Records, and you know, Watain does what Watain does well. You know, this is a band that has been around now for quite some time and is without a doubt one of the ultimate leaders in black metal. If you want to check out one song, you should check out The Howling. At the number 21, we go back to Canada to the band Wake with their really cool album Through From Descent. I would loop in Wake definitely with that golden age of technical death metal, although it's a little bit more experimental or avant-garde than that at times. And if you want to check out one song, you should check out Swallow the Light. Are you ready for the top 20? Here we go. These are the last 10 in this video. At the number 20, another discovery for me. This is one of those bands that is unsigned today, but a label needs to pick up this band because what these guys released really blew me away. Very, very cool band. Very cool album called Become Like They Are by Horned Wolf. Mixing elements of alternative and post-metal and some core elements in there as well. Basically, this band mixed everything together and made something really unique and really cool. Check out the title track, Become Like They Are. At the number 19, another album by Napalm Records. This album was Evidence of Immortality by Conan. What Conan did is they basically, you know, they do this beautiful mix of what I would call battle metal and stoner or sludge, and just mix those together and ump it up to 11. I love this album, and if you want to check it out, you should play Levitation Hoax. At the number 18 spot, again an Atomic Fire album. This time we have Halo by Amorphis. Amorphis is a legendary band, and Halo is, again, the finale of a trilogy. This whole trilogy, I would say, is maybe my favorite work of Amorphis. I know that, you know, there's definitely going to be fans that love other parts of this band's career much more, but I would say that this band is at the peak of what they do. Queen of Time was fantastic, but this album is really cool as well. If there's one song that I would recommend, it would be The Moon. At the number 17 spot, another album that just came out of the blue, that received way too little promotion, also because the people that are in this band are so busy with all these things that they do in other bands. I'm talking about of Mournful Twilight by Morbikon. So this album came out on Tankcrimes and is really the brainchild of Landfill, the bass player of Municipal Waste. The singer is right from Fintroll. This is a really good, let's call it, maybe, it's been described as melodic death metal. I would say that it is much more a black and roll mix of death metal, but with some Nwabum influences in there as well. I mean, there's as much Satyricon as there is Iron Maiden in this record. If you want to check out one song, I would say check out Cursed to March on Shattered Limbs. On number 16, we have an album released by 20 Buck Spin, which is a really cool label. Death and the Twilight Hours by Predatory Light. Just like Forlesen, this is an album that is just a few songs and they're all very long, which is hard to kind of just highlight one moment. But if you need a place to start, I would say To Please Like Angels is what you want to listen to. At the number 15, one of the most hyped albums in the world of black metal. Don't know if hype is the right word, but this album was on, all of a sudden everybody was talking about it. And I would say that not everybody was talking about this band before this album came out. I'm talking about White Ward with False Light. So released on Debemur Morti Productions, I describe this band as an somewhat avant-garde or progressive black metal band. We're not afraid to, to challenge all of the stereotypes, but a very cool album that I've already seen in so many top 10 lists out there. A song you want to check out is Leviathan. At the number 14 spot, we have an album released by Southern Lord Records, and one of the biggest surprises for me. Maybe not a surprise, just biggest discoveries for me. I fell in love with this album the moment I heard the first note. This is Eclipse of the Dual Moons by High Command. High Command is a band that, plays retro music that is almost like if Steve Harris formed a heavy thrash band together with Dave Mustaine and had Millie from Creator singing. You kind of get where High Command plays. Very cool album, beautiful album, looks great. Check it out, and especially the title track, my favorite song on that album. At lucky number 13, another surprise for me, a band that blew me away with their new album. The album came out on Unique Leader Records. This was Abhorrent Obsessions by Carrion Vael. For me, this album came out of nowhere, and when I listened to it, it was like, yeah, this is really good. I wish a lot of modern death metal bands would listen to Carrion Vael, because this sounds fresh to me, and particularly the song The Devil in Me, although I think the whole album is really good. Let's go back to Nuclear Blast for number 12, an absolutely iconic band with a really strong release. We're talking about The God Machine by Blind Guardian. To see this band after all these years release such a strong record is just really cool. Really cool. These guys are far from done. Listen to this album front to back. It's really strong. I would say maybe check out a not so stereotypical Blind Guardian song with Secrets of the American God. The Secrets of the American God. Alright, and then finally at the number 11, because again, we'll do the top 10 in a separate video, we go to a true old school death metal album, which might be one of the greatest old school death metal albums of all time, released on Listenable Insanity Records. I'm talking about Fearsick by Inhuman Condition. Inhuman Condition was kind of the new Massacre, but then that didn't work out, but we're not going to go into that in detail. You can check out my interviews with both Massacre and Inhuman Condition on the channel, but this album is great. It's so much fun. It drew me in straight away, and if you want to just have a party and a rager, put on this record, and particularly put on the song Recycled Hate. I will make you loathe me. Despise my reality. There you go. That was my list of number 50 to 11. Keep your eyes open for the top 10 video to be released very soon. so that we can complete this countdown. I hope you had fun. I hope you discovered some albums. If you disagree with me about any of these albums, they shouldn't be in this list, or they should be in this list, but way higher up, you know, feel free to leave a comment down below. But anyways, I'll see you very soon for part 2 of this list. Stay heavy. You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.